Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're talking about the pen that I bought for my birthday. I have no idea what accent that was. It was probably like a mix of 1700. I don't know. I watched Mrs. Doubtfire not too long ago. Can you tell? But anywho's, we're going to talk about the pen that I bought for my birthday, which clearly is the BENU Briolette in Luminous Amber. I picked this one, A, because it was my favorite finish, and B, because it kind of fit with the theme of most of my other BENU pens, which, yes, I know it's kind of getting out of hand at this point, but it is what it is, you know? For those of you who have yet to see it, I did do a review last week on this hand-painted BENU pen, so if you want to see more about that, definitely check that out. I've done a proper, full, in-detail review of the Euphoria model, which is this one here. This is the bourbon finish, and I did a quick look of the pomegranate. And then for the talismans, I've done a, again, in-depth, full review of the Edelweiss color, and then I've done some quick looks on the Dream Bean and the Venus Hair. I've also done a comparison video between the Talisman and the Euphoria models. I've also done a video comparing the fine nib to medium nib. So loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of BENU content if you want to check that out on my channel. But today we have new BENU content, which is this Briolette in Luminous Amber. Quickly, before I totally get rid of the others, to show you a bit of a size comparison between the two. It's pretty darn close to the size of the Talisman. It's ever so slightly smaller, but really I think it's just because like the little tips go to the point rather than more of a flat edge. But the nib sizes are different. So this is the smaller number 5 size nib, whereas on the Talisman, it does still have the larger number 6 size nib. So that's really the only difference size-wise between the two models. With the Euphoria, it is significantly smaller, obviously. And again, the Euphoria has the larger number 6 size nib versus the number 5. All right, let's get in to this bad boy. Definitely a torpedo-shaped body, which is outside of my norm. I typically prefer the flat ends, but I think because this is a smaller size pen, it's super cute. It's super cute, and I like it a lot. And I think because it has so many facets, come on, camera, you can focus. Because it has so many different facets, it's not just a typical cigar-shaped pen. This is definitely more of a torpedo. This camera stinks. It will not focus. It's also really difficult to show you total details because of the lighting. But it does say BENU around the end of the cap band here, just like all of the others. The difference is that it's not sideways. Let me get one that is also black. So on the Euphoria, it's like written lengthwise, whereas this one isn't. But that's really about it. I flippin' love this material. This white part here is luminous, so it is glow in the dark. And then you have beautiful, dark, rich amber glitter and gold and resin. It is simply stunning, and I love the mixture between the luminous material and the rest of the glitter. Like in these kind of like murky, milky spots here. Oh, it's just stunning to me. And then when you unscrew, you have the black grip section, which is a pretty large grip section. And then you have the number 5 size nib. Let me see if I can get my camera to focus any closer, sort of. So it is a plain Schmidt nib with the letter F in the center there for fine, and an ABS plastic feed. You do have to be careful with this little ridge here. It does collect ink while you ink up the pen, so just be aware of that when you go to actually fill it. Most of their models are like that. And you can unscrew the body. It did come with a standard international converter. It did also come with a standard international cartridge, but I have used the converter. This is now my third filling in like 2 and a bit weeks because I've been using this pen and this pen exclusively since I received them. And you can eyedropper fill the body. I don't know if I would want to for this one because it is a light bodied color, but you could if you chose to, because it's all plastic on the inside. Just throw some silicone grease. You could even pick up an O-ring, I'm sure, if you wanted to do so, but you totally could. I would maybe eyedropper something like this, the Dream Bean talisman, because on the inside of this one it's all dark, so there's no risk of like potential staining. Well, I mean, it might stain, but you wouldn't see it. Whereas on the luminous amber, I think you might see it. So I would be cautious of that. But there are loads and loads of other finishes for the Briolette model. So you could definitely choose one if you want to eyedropper it. It fits exceptionally well in my hand. My grip changes pretty frequently while I'm writing. Sometimes I choke up on the nib where I'm right at the end. It is a little narrow. More often than not, I actually hold my fingers a little further back, and I actually have my thumbs sometimes on the body of the pen, but because they have so many facets, there's actually a nice flat spot right for my thumb. So regardless of how I want to hold the pen, it's very, very, very comfortable. As far as posting goes, no bueno. So if you do have massively large hands, may not be super comfortable for you. You may want to stick with something like the Euphoria model, because that definitely, you've got a little bit more room to play. Whereas with the Briolette, you don't have quite as much, but that is, of course, your choosing. But I really, really like it. I used to not like drastic step downs like this, but it really doesn't bother me. The whole point of it is so that it's like flush when it's capped, which ultimately is like primarily when you're just going to be staring at it for funsies. One thing I will point out, again, if I can get the camera to focus, it's mostly an opaque pen, but you do have a little bit of translucency right here in the cap. So you can kind of see the nib go into the cap there. But otherwise it's completely opaque, not transparent at all. So just a little fun fact, you know. And then we are going to get some Tomoe River paper. This is in my Galen leather notebook. And let's take a look. What ink do I have in here? This is the, oh yeah, the Diamine Ancient Copper. I was like, wait, what do I have in here again? Anywho's, let's get to it, shall we? Again, focus the camera. And like I mentioned, the ink is Diamine Ancient Copper. This nib, you guys, is so smooth, and I mean, you can tell how wet it is. It's just glorious. I absolutely adore it. You can get a little bit of flex out of it, but in no way, shape, or form is this a flex nib. You can squeeze a teeny bit, but 10 out of 10, don't recommend to do very often. As far as reverse writing goes, it reverse writes pretty well, makes it ever so slightly drier, keeps pretty much the fine line, doesn't really change there, but it is a tiny bit scratchy. But as far as like hard starts, skips, things like that, never had an issue. I did technically have it hard start one time, but it's because it was literally left like just uncapped, hanging out for a bit. I got distracted. Somebody walked into my room and I just kind of like held it like this. And then it took like, 2 taps and it started writing again. But I really like the fact that it's nice and wet, super, super smooth. This is definitely a true fine point. I mentioned in my video about the hand-painted BENU pen. Now, granted, this is a number 6 size nib, but I have fines and mediums across all of the number 6 size nibs. It's also a fine nib, but it is a little bit bolder than the Briolette. So I would say that this one is a true fine. Now, I will put a little asterisk on that, that this is my first BENU number 5 size nib, so I don't have any other number 5s to compare it to. But with regards to the number 5 over the number 6, come on, you can focus. There we go. I will say it's definitely a little bit broader on the Euphoria model there. So this pen is awesome. Actually, this is literally the perfect size comparison. So this is an A6 size notebook, and it's quite literally the size of the pen. I never even noticed that. That's so cute. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So do I recommend this pen? 100%. Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of hard for me not to, because clearly I have an obsession. I mean, you guys, it started with one and look what's happened. So, I mean, clearly, yes, I recommend the BENU pen. I would say out of all of them, the Euphoria maybe still slightly has an edge as far as my favorite model that I've used, and I've only used these 3 models from BENU. Probably just because this bourbon one holds a warm a warm spot in my heart, because it was my first BENU, and it changed the game for me. But to be fair, this is a very, very close second. I really, really, really enjoy this pen. The Talisman is amazing, but this one I think would just slightly edge it out. I don't know. There's just something about this pen that feels amazing in my hand, that makes me feel special when I use it. And I just, it's hard to put it into words why I really, really love this pen. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to do a comparison between the 3 different models, the Briolette, Talisman, and Euphoria. If you're interested in that, let me know. I will do it if there's enough votes saying yes, please. And then, yeah, I'll definitely do that. Otherwise, probably not. I do want to pick up maybe one of their Minima models, which is similar to this, just to compare that. But it's because I have a problem. If you want to help me continue this problem and make more videos for you all, check out the link in the description. You will find my Instagram, Patreon, and Discord if you want to help support me in what I do here. But if you don't, that's cool too. Just smash the like, hit the subscribe. New videos every Monday and Friday, and a random video or so on Tuesday occasionally for funsies. But regardless, I appreciate you watching this far in, and I will see you next time. Bye. big shout out to all my Patreon members. Let me know if you prefer this quick version or the older version where I went through one by one, but I appreciate all of you so much.